How's it going, guys? This is Tom Peluso, aka Better Body Boy, checking in from Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm out here today in between training sessions. I wanted to reach out to my network to really help a lot of people with their New Year's resolutions. The most common question I often get asked for many, many years now is how do we build muscle and burn fat at the same time? People often look up to me as a bodybuilder because ultimately that's what we achieve before we step out on the stage. We want the lowest amount of body fat with the most muscle we can have. That's what makes us a good competitor. It's very hard to achieve naturally, but it is possible if you're willing to put the work in. Now, you really have to put the work in. That includes weight training, that includes nutrition, and that includes supplementation. It's not a one-way thing. You can't just think you're going to lift like crazy and eat whatever you want to and achieve these kind of results. Or trying to get it just from food is virtually impossible because the nutrients available in our food today isn't how they were back before, and a lot of it has to do with the soil not being as good. So even if you're eating all natural, organic, everything else, that's very, very difficult to do. Not to mention, in order to build muscle, you need to eat a lot. If you're not using supplements to help aid in the process of detoxification and digestion, then you won't have the energy required to push hard enough in the gym to get through that threshold in order for growth. So, in a nutshell, muscle growth, based on the energetic theory, which is the most widely accepted, is our muscle fibers grow when we basically increase our adaptive reserve, which means the body's ability to break down and repair muscle tissue. More nutrients come in as we put our bodies through this stress, and they come in through the hormones produced. Those include testosterone, insulin-like growth factors, growth hormone, and cortisol is another one. Now, testosterone is great for us. Testosterone actually sends stronger signals from the nervous system to the body, and it also stimulates muscle growth and repair, which we want to repair all the time. Whether we're training or not, it's good to know that our skeletal muscle is repairing. That way we can keep getting better and better and better, especially as we age. So there's a lot of benefits to weight training. I'm simply going to talk today about how this applies to me in achieving that good result. Less body fat, more lean muscle mass. Cortisol, when it's elevated, is actually a negative thing, and we're going to come back to that later. So cortisol produces the stress, it reduces the inflammatory response, but we need that to break down protein. So basically, or to use proteins. So when cortisol is elevated, it can actually keep us from losing body fat, which is what we don't want, and to actually not use proteins adequately in the body to build more muscle, which we don't want, and actually stop in the formation of bones. So none of that's good. So in terms of building muscle, we definitely want a high testosterone level and a low cortisol level. We'd like it if our growth hormone factors and everything associated with can stay up, because that's what's driving the nutrients to the muscles before and after workout. During recovery is a very important aspect. If you're constantly walking around inflamed, you're not going to grow bigger and stronger. Your body's not healing correctly if you are, which is also the detoxification process I was mentioning before. So we're going to go through what the Better Body System offers, what I use personally to achieve my results for everybody that's asking me personally what I do, and also to help the users of the Better Body System better understand why it works. So I'm going to start with the meal program. Alright, so the meal program is basically a high protein diet, which is great for building muscle. We need all the amino acids in the protein. It's very, very hard to build muscle if you're on a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle approach. I don't know many bodybuilders, though there are some, and I know they work very, very, very hard to achieve that. I love the taste of meat personally. I think it's the easiest way to achieve it. So I like to eat meat for that reason, and I will continue to eat meat for a lot of other reasons that I've studied through nutrition as well. So it is a high protein diet. On the meal day, we get everything we need to be a great functioning athlete, and a weightlifter is an athlete. So you get your complex carb, your fruit, right? Lots of fiber as well. You get that in the morning with your whey protein shake. You also get your starch. Best from my personal experience and a lot of research I've done shows to do that immediately post-workout. So usually what I have post-workout is 50 to 75 grams Okinawa sweet potato, which is the purple one. You can do regular sweet potato, you can do brown rice, or you can do any of the other starches listed here. That's going to help increase your insulin level, and insulin's what drives the amino acids and glutamine into the muscles post-workout. So that's typically when I like to do my starch meal. In the morning, I keep it really low. I also don't eat starch too late at night because my body is more likely going to store that as fat. So I follow the Better Body system almost to a T. I just make sure I eat my starch meal on meal day post-workout. If I'm going to do some fruit, then I make sure it's pretty early in the morning because I want to make sure I burn off the sugars that are in that fruit. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I add it in with my protein shake in the morning. I will do a couple frozen bananas, high amount of potassium, which is also great. So that's the way I choose to do the meal day. Now, the fast track burn is really what turned me onto the Better Body system when I first heard about it 2.5 years ago. The fast track burn cycle is a very easy way to teach people, my personal training clients, my family members, my friends, how to carbohydrate cycle. That's something I didn't even know about until I got into the bodybuilding world and industry. Carbohydrate cycling is great. You eat enough carbohydrates to replenish the stored glucose, stored glycogen levels in your muscle so you can perform during the workout. So it's not like the Atkins diet where you're completely starving yourself from carbohydrates, eventually putting your body into ketosis, making it stop wanting to burn everything altogether, and basically go into survival mode. Because then we're not going to burn the body fat. Everybody's like, dude, I need this stuff. I'm going to keep it. Especially if you're doing heavy weight training and lots of cardio, really trying to achieve that low body fat. So really, what I found works best is when I'm giving my body exactly what it needs. And that's fiber, dietary fat, high amount of protein, as well as the starch at a certain time of the day in accordance to my workouts. And that's going to change for everybody depending on when they work out. Another thing I'd like to debunk real quick, whether working out in the morning or night is better, I often get that question a lot. It's really up to you. Whatever you can do in your lifestyle. Personally, I don't like to work out at 6 a.m. in the morning. I have clients that do, and I'm there working with them. I don't like to. My brain likes to move really fast in the morning, but my body doesn't. So, similarly, I don't like to work out really late at night. I'm a little too tired. I worked hard all day long. By the time the night comes, often I'll get a little lazy. I'll say, I'm not going to go work out right now. I'll just pick it up tomorrow. Because really, there's no finish line in this for me, and there shouldn't be for you. Every single day, we should do something active. We are made to move. We produce certain chemicals in our body that the only way we can produce them is through movement. So I'm okay with saying tomorrow I'll get one in if that's the case. But I don't like to, I always like to get better, which means you need to be pretty much working all the time. Okay? You need recovery days, you need rest days, that's not what I'm saying, but you need to push yourself and you need to keep yourself accountable to when you work out. So, if I know that I put off workouts late at night, I don't like doing them in the morning, the best time for me is midday. And that's actually really convenient because I'm a personal trainer. My clients train super early before work and later in the afternoon after work. So my midday is pretty much wide open. I get to go work out. I enjoy it. That's my best time. So figure out what your best time is and then fix your starch meal right after that for that reason. Okay, now that we went through the fast track burn cycle, we teach you how to carbohydrate. Another important aspect of cycling, it's really cool the way it works. The reason it helps you burn fat really fast is because it actually triggers your body to utilize the fatty acids over the carbohydrates, and even more so the proteins. What you don't want to do if you're trying to build muscle is start burning the proteins off, amino acids, or especially muscle that you already have. And this often happens in a lot of endurance athletes, people that do a lot of high intensity training, similar to CrossFit. They want to build lots and lots of muscle, but really, in order to do those kind of workouts, if you love those workouts, all the power to you. But you have to make sure that you're giving your body what it needs. So it's not going in and burning the stored muscles that you have. If you're wondering why you can't gain any muscle mass and you're still doing those workouts, or you're a lifetime runner, so you're a person that likes running all the time like Forrest Gump, by all means, you like running. That's your form of movement that you prefer. Keep doing it. But know that that's going to affect the way you build muscle mass. A lot of my clients come to me and say, hey, I want to build muscle mass, but they run 6, 7, 8 miles almost every single day. They're going to have to eat a lot of protein to offset that. And the more protein you eat, the more acidic byproducts you're going to produce as a result. So really, you're going to have to increase a lot of things. And it can all be adjustable, and we can make it work, but really it's easier to kind of slow some of that down, maybe refocus your style of training. Okay. Now that we went through the meal program, start going through some of the individual products